Steve, I'm coming for Steve.
At the age of 27, Chad Hymas' life changed instantaneously when an accident left him a quadriplegic. Since that time, Chad has been recognized by the state of Utah as the Superior Civilian of the Year. He is the president of his own communications company and an internet marketing company. He is a member of the National Speakers Association, and at 32 years old is one of the youngest ever to receive the Certified Speaking Professional designation. Chad travels as many as 150,000 miles a year, speaking to hundreds of professional and civic organizations, such as Wells Fargo, Blue Cross Blue Shield, AT&T, Rainbird, Intermountain Healthcare, American Express, Prudential Life, Vast Effects, Zion Securities, and others. The Wall Street Journal calls Chad Hymas one of the 10 most inspirational speakers in the world. Chad is married, and he and his wife are the proud parents of 3 children. They currently reside in Rush Valley, Utah, on a 200-acre wildlife preserve. Chad is a world-class wheelchair athlete enjoying basketball, wheelchair rugby, hang gliding, and snow skiing. In July 2003, Chad set a world record by wheeling a personal marathon of over 500 miles from Salt Lake City to Las Vegas. Chad is also the author of the regionally best-selling book, Soaring to New Heights. Chad Hymas will not only inspire, motivate, and move you, he will create an experience that will touch your heart for a lifetime. Who needs legs when you have wings? Ladies and gentlemen, Chad Hymas.
Well, let's get started. Are you ready to get connected? I don't think I got that. Are you ready to get connected? I'll tell you what do you think about the band? Good band? Listen, I know what half these guys are cheering for. Did y'all notice the drummer? Dude, hey, that was a chick. That was a chick. I guess. So I bet you some of you want to get connected with me right now, because guess what I got? Backstage passes. All right, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. That's worth an applause right there. Hey, I have to. Let me just try and put this into perspective. Let's turn the house lights up for just a second, and let me see by raise of hand, how many of you are here for the first time? First time. So look at this, folks. Look around right now. Look around. I'm going to say more than half. If you want to make this week worth it for you, do me a favor. Get connected with those around you. Meet somebody new. Make a new friend. If you'll do that, you know what you'll find? You'll find that this conference for you was a huge success. You'll find that. Make a new friend. Meet somebody new. Find out something new about somebody else, somebody that you didn't know before, and you'll find this whole week for you will be a huge success. If you'll do that one thing, watch what happens in your life. Watch what happens. That's what I try and do. And matter, I have to tell you this. I travel about 180,000 miles a year and do about 200 events. Probably a little too much. Last night, I got connected with you on a whole different level. Something happened to me last night that's never happened to me before, and it's kind of freaked me out, to be honest with you. Let me just tell you this. I have a system as I travel to hotels. You can see that I'm a quadriplegic. I'm in a wheelchair. So here's my system. When I get to a hotel, I go up to the room, transfer into the bed, get undressed. The bed is I'm on the right side of the bed every time, and then I pick up the phone after I get ready for bed. I pick up the phone and I dial the bell desk. And I ask for 3 bottles of water, 16 ounces of cranberry juice, an empty bottle. And if I have to tell you why I have an empty bottle, then you and I are not connected right now. So let's just... I ask for an empty bottle with the cap. And listen, this is going to sound weird to some of you. I order a pizza. Almost every night that I'm on the road, because my body can handle that real well. That's what I do. Last night I get here at 9:52 with the same plan in mind. I get up to my hotel room, wheel into the door, wheel through the door. Didn't hit the door. Wheel through the door, and get this. My bed is uncovered on the right side already. There's 3 bottles of water sitting on my bed, 16 ounces of cranberry juice, and a meat lover's pizza from Pizza Hut, and an empty water bottle. And immediately I think to myself, I'm wondering if I'm speaking to a bunch of help desk people or computer hackers. Because that's way too much information. And let me just say this. Somebody, hey, there's the definition of getting connected right there. Somebody went the extra mile for me to get to know what my needs were. And can I just say this? I think you owe it to your committee, Fiona Henderson, Cinda Daly, Mr. Munns, and all those who put this. I give them another round of applause for what they've done for you. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. So, hey, we got to get started. I need your help. I need you to give me the definition of getting connected. What's it mean to you? Tell me out loud. I need your help. What's it mean to get connected? Listening. Somebody said listening. Give me a one-word definition. That's perfect. What else? Caring. Anything else? Sharing. Help me out, folks. Come on. Networking. Huge. I believe in that 100%. Anything else? Love. That had to be who? Who said love? Let me tell you, I know Kirk a little too well, and we'll talk later, Kirk. You and I will talk a little bit later. Hey, it's all about the love. And can I give you my one-word definition of getting connected? Check this out. Write this down in your memory book. It's called vision. Tonight, we'll talk about vision. Because all too often, I think as adults, in the workplace, parents, mothers, fathers, grandparents, we can lose it. I did when change came knocking on my door. And tonight, here's my message for you. Can I just wrap it up in a nutshell? Here's what I want. Tonight I want to share with you the visions of my life. Those things that have helped me to take an experience of change and turn them into world records. And if you'll listen to what I share with you, I'll make this promise to you. When you walk out of these doors tonight, when you leave here, you will set world records. Hey, when I talk about world records, am I talking about the world record I set from Salt Lake City to Vegas? Is that what I'm talking about? Is that what I'm talking about? No, that was the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life, to be honest with you. Never do that ever again. Hey, let me just repeat what I heard, because I took the time to attend part of Kirk's session today, and I'm going to repeat what he said over and over and again. But all right, somebody who's in that session, say it for me. It's the little things that what? Man, it's the little things. Hey, it's the little things that have brought about the greatest results with my numb fingers. Here's the funny thing. Some of you tonight, you're going to get the message. And I admire you for that. I think that's to be commended. That's commendable. Some of you tonight, you won't. My question for you, why? Why won't you get it? Can I give you the answer? Because you choose not to. You choose not to. See, that's part of being an adult, is we don't take down the shield. So tonight, I'm going to ask you to do something very, very difficult. The reason why it's difficult is I'm a 32-year-old kid asking many of you in this room who have a lot more experience in life than I got to take down the shield. What does that mean? When I ask you to take down the shield, what does it mean? Somebody help me out with that. Somebody right here in the front said be vulnerable. Translated, hey, be willing to learn how to eat your food with your wrist. Do something different. Relearn things all over again. Do something new. You do that when you leave here tonight, you'll set world records. I think my father tried to instill vision in me when I was in high school. 17, 18 years old. The funny thing is, I wasn't listening back then. Have any of you ever had that experience before with your teenagers? Check this out. I'm not knocking on the teenagers. I'm just telling you that's the way I was. I played basketball for the biggest high school in the state of Utah. Kids in my high school enrollment, 2,500 kids. So that's about the same number of people that's in this room right now. That's fair to say. Every day for lunch, me and my buddies on the basketball team, we sat right back there in the corner every day without fail. Every day. Why did we sit there? Hey, it was the cool place to sit. Right? That was our group. In the middle of the cafeteria, some that are out there in the middle of all you, sat another group of kids. It was the special ed students of my school. Do y'all know what I mean by special ed? Those kids in chairs, those kids with Down syndrome, those kids with fingers and hands that look like mine, MS, down, you name it, we had it. You can imagine with 2,500 kids, there was a lot of kids in my school that had special circumstances. And amongst that group of kids was a girl, her name, Melanie Bronis. Do not forget that name because you're going to hear it again this week. Remember the name? Melanie Bronis. Thank you. She couldn't speak. Her mouth didn't work. She had long brown hair, and there was a computer that was rigged to the front of her chair. This is how Melanie talked. Check this out. She'd type her words on that keyboard, just like this. And when she was done, she'd hit the red button at the top right-hand side. And then the 2 speakers rigged to the back did all the talking for her. Good stuff. Good stuff. And whenever she ate her lunch, her fries and her fry sauce oftentimes would end up on the floor, on her lap, on her shirt. And folks, I hope I can share this with you. She even drooled out of one side of her mouth whenever she ate. And me and my buddies in the corner, we thought it was kind of funny. Due to our lack of what? Vision. Remember what we're talking about tonight? Due to our lack of vision. In fact, one day after school, after ball practice, me and the entire team were at my house, downstairs in my bedroom, door closed. Guess whose name comes up in our conversation somehow? Matt, hey, comes up, and we all kind of start to laugh a little bit. There comes a knock at my bedroom door, folks. Door opens up, and guess who's standing there? No, not my mother. I wish it would have been my mother. My father. A lot worse. Hey, my father could have belted me that night for what came out of my mouth, but he didn't. Why? Because he had a greater vision. Check this out. My dad walks into the room, 10, 11 of us sitting on the bed right there, 10 or 11 of us. Sits on the bed with us, and this is all he says. Hey, he didn't spend 12 seconds there. Sits on my bed, and he says this. There was a kid that was in his high school a few years back, Green River, Wyoming. Nobody really knew who he was. Nobody paid attention to him. Nobody got connected with him. See, some of you are starting to get it right now. Some of you are understanding what I'm trying to say to you. Nobody got connected with him. Hence, the kid was never able to perform any results. Nobody knew his name until, get this, 2 years after my dad left high school, everybody knew who that kid was. Do you know why? He was in the obituary section because he took his life. That's all my dad said. Got up off my bed, walked out of the room, and he left me and the team to just sit there. Here's the kicker. Next day of school, same situation for lunch. I'm sitting back there having pizza with my buddies. Where's Melanie Bronis sitting? In the middle. When, guess who walks into my high school? A man with a vision. Who just so happened to be who? Yeah. Somebody special? He wasn't a teacher. He wasn't a principal. Just somebody who was willing to open up his mind. Kind of like what I'm asking you to do tonight. Walks into my high school, and some of you might think this is funny, and that's all right. You put yourself in my shoes for 2 seconds in front of a group of kids in a room this size having lunch. Just for 2 seconds. Dad walks into my high school, walks over to the principal's office, gets him out of his office, brings him over to my table, and my father says this, Chad, where's Melanie sitting? Exactly. Reluctantly, I said, Father, that's her right there with the long brown hair and the computer on her chair. Right there, that's her. He said, I want you and the team to follow me right now. What do you do when something like that happens to you in your life? You get your butt up out of the chair and you follow your father over the table if you had a father like mine. And we did. All 11 of us. When we get over to her table, he does this. Think about this as it pertains to tonight. To vision, getting connected, energizing, getting results. He taps her on the shoulder and he says, hey, Melanie, my name is Kelly Hymas. You don't know who I am, but I know who you are. Hey, and this is my son, Chad. He's the captain of the basketball team. And these are all of his buddies. And he named every team player by name. Then he asked her this question. Listen carefully. He said, Mel, How would you like to go to McDonald's today and grab a milkshake with all of us? Listen carefully to her response. She typed on her computer, "I'm sorry, sir, but my mother won't let me go out with strangers." I thought that was a classic response. Great response coming from Melanie. So they took Melanie over to the principal's office, called Melanie's mother at work. Did y'all hear what I just said? Don't forget that. Don't. I'll get back to that in a second, because that was new for me. With all due respect to you ladies that work for a living, which I think is wonderful, where was my mother when I was in high school? Yeah. She was at home. So it was kind of new for me. Hey, got permission from Mom, and then my dad, watch this, he flipped the switch on the back of her electric chair, pushed her back out to the middle of all of you. Of all of you. I watched this. He then put his hands up underneath her numb legs, lifted her up out of the electric wheelchair so that all of you would see it. Why? He carried her out to our family car, set her in the passenger seat, and then he stuffed me, the principal, and 10 of my buddies into a car that only seats 6 people. My father lacked safety vision. I want to share that with you. Lacked safety vision. We went to McDonald's that day, and guess what happened at McDonald's? Check this out. Me and my buddies, all 11 of us, we fed her the strawberry shake with the little plastic spoon. Melanie always had a towel on her lap. I failed to mention that to you. Why did she have the towel on her lap? Somebody help me with that. Remember? And so we as a team grabbed the towel. True story, folks. True story. Made the news. We grabbed the towel and we wiped it off so that she would be somewhat presentable. And as we did this for this girl, whom I never got connected with before that day, what did she type away on the keyboard? Somebody say it. Like, hey, 10 times. Thank you. And then she'd hit repeat. Thank you. Repeat. Thank you. And then she informed us of the following information. She'd been born like this. Look. Her hands had always looked this way, always cringed and curled. She'd been in that chair since she was a baby. She'd been typing on that computer since she could remember. Melanie's mother, check this out, folks. If you want to talk about connection, dropped her off at school every morning at 7:30 a.m. Then where did Mom go every day? Where? Every day. What did Melanie's mother do at 2:30 p.m. when the school bell rang to get out of school? What did she do? Yeah. Picked her daughter up from school and spent the rest of the night with who? Her daughter. Building a connection. Melanie's father, gentleman, she never knew him because he left when she was born, perhaps due to his lack of. But we don't want to judge him because that's not our place, right? Not our place. Every day after that, where did Melanie Brona sit for lunch at West Jordan High School? That's what made the news. Did you hear what I just said? In fact, check this out. The cheerleaders of our high school, my senior year, nominated Melanie Bronis the head cheerleader of our school. And it caught national news. Katie Couric interviewed it. Incredible. All because of the vision of how many people? How many? Yeah. Who just so happened to be who? Was it anybody? Hey, I hope more of you are getting this. See, some of you are going to believe in yourself. Some of you are going to believe this, and some of you aren't. Man, you got to open up if you're going to hear this message. All because of the vision of one person, who in turn affected how many ball players? 11, which then in turn affected how many students at my school? Thank you. Somebody's paying attention right here. 2,500. Now think about this. How many of you went to the basketball games and the football games? By the way, our gym was packed, and our team sucked. Hope I can share that with you. The gym was packed every game, not because they were there to watch the game, but who were they there to watch? They were like this. Watch this. They were like this. The crowd. And what were they thinking as they were watching this girl? What was happening? What were they doing? Thank you. You're understanding. They were connecting not just with Melanie, but with who? Themselves. Here's my question for each of you tonight. Are you willing to allow yourself to do the same thing? Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to ask again and hope people... Are you willing to do the same thing? Yes. Thank you very, very much. Now let's move on quickly about this world record marathon. I had a vision. I didn't say I was smart, folks. I did not say I was smart, but I had a vision to set a world record, to push this chair from a place called Temple Square in Salt Lake City, Utah. Some of you have heard of it. To another place called the Mirage. Where's that? Heaven to hell, if you want to think about it in hindsight, right? We can be honest. Can we be honest? We can be honest. And I trained for 18 months to break this record. 6 of those months I had to train in Vegas. Why? Heat. See, check this out. As a quadriplegic, I lost the thermostat. It's located right here at C3 in all of your necks. Right here. That's the vertebrae that I crushed. So I lost the ability to tell the difference between hot and cold. Translated, when all of you get cold, what does your body read? What does it do? Shivers. I don't shiver anymore at all. Period. At all. That's why I have on 3 pairs of long johns. You want to talk about getting connected? Come check it out. 3 pairs. What happens when y'all get hot? You sweat. I don't sweat at all. Seriously. Period. Sounds like a modern miracle to most of you, doesn't it? I've saved a lot of money in deodorant, and I have a lot more friends than many of you in this room for that very, very reason. Right? So I had to spend 6 months in Vegas adapting to the heat, because it's easier to cool down than it is to get warm for people like me. One day after training, we're wandering down the strip. And when I say we, I'm talking about me and my bride. And when I talk about my bride, hey, you're going to meet her here in just a little bit. Her name is Shondell. She is a sweetheart. So I thought that day. We're wandering down the strip one afternoon, and we notice not too far on the distance a roller coaster. Now, folks, you have to understand this. Anybody in here like roller coasters? Okay. We're disconnected for a little while here. We're disconnected. I hate roller coasters. Never liked roller coasters when I had the use of both of these. And when we looked off in the distance, my brother noticed not too far off in the distance the biggest roller coaster I had ever seen in my life. Get this. It started somewhere inside the hotel at the very bottom, exited the building, climbed its way to the top of the building, and then it dropped at almost a 90-degree angle. And then it took one on... No, sir, no, you're missing this. No, that's not what I'm missing. Sir, I don't know what you're smoking, but you can't smoke in a hotel. Then it took one on 2 consecutive loops, which took one upside down. And then it finished with a series of hills, twists, turns, and bumps. And then it disappeared back into the hotel. My brother looked at me in this circumstance, and he said, Chad, doesn't that look like fun? Now, do I look stupid? I said, no. He then turned to my wife, Shondell, whom I thought was a sweetheart, and he said, Shondell, we're going to get Chad on that roller coaster. I said, over my dead body. Now, I don't think before I say things sometimes. This body's about as dead as it gets. And you also have to understand, folks, that me being in a wheelchair, I really don't have a whole lot to say about what happens in my life anymore. Are we on the same page? Are we connected? For example, my wife gets me up in the morning when I'm home, and she says, sweetheart. See, she's playing games. What would you like to wear today? I say to her the same thing every morning. Jeans and a t-shirt, please. And then she puts on me whatever she wants. See, we're already being disconnected. We're already losing that connection. I've discovered, gentlemen, that I wear outfits. Now, some of you gentlemen wear outfits. You're going to disconnect really quick with this audience. Make a long story short, they dragged me over to the hotel. They carried me up a flight of stairs right to the front of the line. Didn't have to wait in line. When we get there, they both leave. That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. They said, we have to find a supervisor to get permission to put you on the ride. Now, I may be stupid, but I'm smart enough to know this. If you need a supervisor's permission to get on a roller coaster ride, chances are you shouldn't be in the line in the first place. Are we agreed on that? Well, while they were gone, I looked on my left-hand side right here, and I noticed a sign. Listen to this. Yeah, you're not stupid. Yeah. It said, welcome to the New York Hotel, home of the world's largest roller coaster. Peak height, 412 feet. Do y'all know how tall that is? Speeds in excess of 70 miles per hour. I read the small fine print. Important for people like me to read that stuff. If you're pregnant, have asthma, heart, liver, or bladder failure, strongly suggest you do not participate on this ride. Now, I'm fairly certain I have every one of those problems. Right? With the exception of being pregnant, of course. And then at the bottom of the sign was a blue line which read what? You said it. Right. Hey, have to be this tall. I thought, my lucky day. Because I was 2 inches shorter than the line. My wife and brother returned with that supervisor, and I said to Shondell, look, you can read. I'm clearly in violation of all the rules. There's no way I can ride this roller coaster. She looked at the sign and she said two things. Number one, where does it say anything about being a quadriplegic? Does she not get it? Number two, she walked around to the back of my wheelchair and she cranked up the adjustment. I had a much better idea why I had been brought to that hotel, for their own entertainment, I take it. Well, after signing a waiver for that supervisor stating that I wouldn't sue the hotel if something happened to my body, they then picked me up and they carried my body to the very... Folks, the very back seat. Exactly. They said this would be the best place for me to sit. In case I threw up. Now, there's a confidence builder. Right? They put a seatbelt across my chest, a seatbelt across my waist, and then a harness hydraulically closed against my shoulders. This was to keep me from falling out. As we exited the hotel, the supervisor, remember the supervisor? She came over the intercom system and she said, please keep your arms and legs inside at all times. Enjoy the ride. That's when it hit me. That's when it hit me. Folks, I can't feel my legs. In fact, they are completely numb to me today. How am I supposed to keep them inside this ride? So I leaned to my brother, who was kind enough to sit beside me. And I said to him, clearly, you keep a hold of these legs. I don't want these puppies to exit this ride as we're traveling over 70 miles an hour. Do y'all remember his job? Don't forget it. We made our climb all the way to that 400-foot mark. Anybody ever been on that ride at the New York? So right here in the front, sir, tell me your name. Glenn, stand up. Thanks, Glenn. Glenn, where are you from? Indiana. Glenn's from Indiana. Glenn, what's it like? What was it like for you as you sat there on that ride for the 10 seconds they make you sit there?
Terrifying.
Terrifying. Anything else you want to add?
Terrible fear of heights, so it was more than terrifying.
More than terrifying. Anything about your pants that you would like to share with this group? Not publicly. Give Glenn a round of applause. Glenn, thank you very much. Glenn, you and I have made a connection because we can relate. That's exactly how I felt. And then we made our descend. And I can tell you, I think I felt my stomach for the first time in 16 months. Where was it located? Right here. Right here. And as we made our way up that first loop, I looked to my brother to make sure he was going to do what? And can I just tell you, his arms were sticking straight up in the air. And it was obvious to me that my safety was the furthest thing from his mind.